Hey, this is Sal at Robber Barons Inc. Instead of listening to Pint of Comics, which is trash, you should head over to robberbaronsinc.com and check out our full selection of t-shirts and apparel.
Hey there, this is John from Pint of Comics.
And I'm Lloyd, also from Pint of Comics.
And I'm the other John, and you get it by now. As you may know, we sometimes use language on this show that can be described as...
Filthy.
Okay.
Reprehensible?
Uh-huh. Crude?
Sure.
Nasty.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, guys. We all know that it's just plain out gutter talk.
You've been warned. Listen in.
Welcome to the Pint Movie Invitational Series.
I could have killed them all. I could have killed you. In town, you're the law. Out here, it's me. Don't push it. Don't push it, I'll give you a war you won't believe. Let it go.
Today, on the Pint Movie Invitational, the first repeat guest of all time, Manster, Sir John, Ganache. This is our 13th. Here's some factoids for you.
All right.
13th recorded Pint Movie Invitational.
13th.
13th recorded.
Andrew was the first recorded.
Andrew was the first recorded.
Yeah,
Andrew
buddy.
is here again tonight. Andrew Morgan, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Andrew, host of the Nomcast,
That's true.
our favorite Vietnam podcast,
Yes.
where you talk about the Tet Offensive, and
It was originally called the Viet fucking Nomcast, but I thought that was a little too much.
Alrighty then.
the Nomcast, Netflix original movies.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you recently did an episode with by the time this comes out, it won't be so recent anymore.
No.
I know.
But with
3 years ago,
with
me and
our
John
very
did.
own
really.
Sir John and
We'll have to do another one.
Carlos Danger from Mobile Horror Companion.
That's right. We did Apostle.
You did Apostle, not
Yeah.
the Apostle.
No. Robert Duvall was not involved.
I did want to bring up. So this is the 13th recorded. Andrew was the first. You, Lloyd, were the second
I was the
recorded, the
second.
first released.
First release.
Yeah.
And my Facebook memories told me today it was today.
It was
Wow.
today. that
So,
it was
which
recorded
means that
or
we
released.
recorded the Memento episode, which was actually the first. That's a hard word to shoot right out.
Yeah.
The Memento episode over a year ago.
Wow.
So you're back. You're the first two-time guest,
Nice.
and
You guys had a busy year.
we had a busy year. We still have a couple in there that aren't released yet, so look forward to that. By the time you hear this, they'll be out. So I don't know what the
Right.
fuck I'm talking about.
Well, who knows? We got more coming.
Yeah, we got more coming. I got a couple more picks too. As a matter of fact, I'm going to throw this out there. Lou finally picked his movie. He was originally going to do the Blair Witch Project, and he changed his mind. And I'm already waiting. I want to look at John's face when he says this. Lou picked the 1994 comic book adaptation, The Crow.
All right.
Oh,
That's all right.
I probably haven't seen that.
I have not seen The Crow in probably 20 plus years.
I probably haven't seen it since it was on the movie.
Started watching it a couple months ago, but didn't make it very far.
And by the time that probably gets recorded and released, another Lee will be dead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very possibly in some freakazoid accident. So, Andrew, you came on. We talked about Christopher Nolan's Memento, which is a very strangely put together movie, crime, noir, a lot of weird stuff going on.
Yes.
And you did a 180.
Yes, I
on
did.
us. You didn't go, I'm going to pick something else that's like, Inception or even Get Out of Nolan. And just
You
pick
can't pigeonhole me, John.
We're not going to pigeonhole you.
Yeah.
You went to the other end of the spectrum.
Yes, I did.
What was the movie you picked? What did we watch? And what are we going to be talking about tonight?
We are going to be watching First Blood, the first in the Rambo trilogy.
Trilogy, which is now. Here's another funny part.
Well, oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. Which is now going to be 5.
5 movies.
Yeah.
Again, you're going to hear this probably a month or two after this is recorded. But the night we're recording this, Rambo Last Blood
Yeah.
is in theaters now. Been released today.
Yes, correct.
Not doing that anymore.
I'm
all done.
Yeah.
I'm all done.
So there was.
And I don't know if you saw that they are comparing it to Home Alone. Did you see this?
I didn't see that, but I did see one of the critics put it down as a MAGA fantasy movie.
Oh no!
Yeah,
that's even worse.
Because he apparently it's him versus Mexicans.
No,
Is the idea. Man. So they put it's the first ever MAGA fantasy movie. Again,
Christ,
who knows? But I did hear that there is a large kind of like trap.
Well, it's like
ending.
booby trap room, like house kind of thing. So they're instantly like, "Have
marbles?
you seen Home Alone?"
Yeah.
Give him a go.
And when they asked him, the only thing he said was like, I don't remember seeing it. I only remember the kid going, ah! I watched the video where Stallone is literally doing the cologne slap to the face. It was amazing.
I remember that. It was, and then it was the snow.
Over under. Okay, so these episodes are usually about an hour and 20. Over under. How many minutes is John doing his Stallone imitation?
Let's try
50.
let's try
50?
less than 10.
Okay, you know what? I like that. Perfect.
Yeah.
Even though it is a good imitation. Andrew, why did you pick this movie?
I think because I wanted to go with the 180. I wanted to go with something like, who isn't like watching a movie that is someone just, getting upset and blowing up a town.
Yeah.
Like that is, every man's fantasy.
Pretty much what happened.
And be honest. Did our outro have anything to do with it?
No. I mean, like it keeps it in the brain. Yeah, that's for sure.
It sure does.
And obviously, I would hope that it was something that I was bringing that you all enjoy on some level.
Oh, I'm psyched that you're doing it.
And, it was a huge movie. And I figured the new one was coming out. So I was like, okay, cool. It's timely. I can remember what this movie franchise was like at some time. Because after the first movie, it is nothing like this first movie. Right. And the first movie is a classic.
When was this released?
82.
It was 82. Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
October 22nd.
It feels like a late 70s movie, but
it does.
Yeah,
it does.
Especially with the vehicles.
And I wonder if they did that on purpose, considering the war that they're coming out of, the kind of look that they wanted to go for, and we'll see.
Yeah.
There was a couple things about this movie, so why don't you give us the rundown of what the movie's about, and then we'll start talking about cast, and we'll get into the whole thing.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it almost. I love this movie because it almost acts like a Western that gets way out of control. You have the.
Yeah, I never got there, but yeah,
you have a drifter literally like walking into town that has a town with a banner over it, kind of like you're literally walking into a studio Old West town. Walking in, sheriff is not too pleased to see him, thinks he's a certain type of fella that doesn't need to be with
your flag on your jacket.
Right, exactly.
The most aggressive sheriff I have seen.
Yes.
I mean,
he truly is.
A lot like Old Saybrook.
Yeah.
he truly is. And I wanted to bring that up.
And Dennehy's now, we were talking that we think he's in Litchfield or whatever, but I thought I read that
he's a Bridgeport native.
Yeah, I know, originally, but I think they said he was actually more closer to like Old Saybrook. I don't know. I'll double check that. Yeah.
I know you guys know, but I have a connection, a sort of a connection to Denny.
Oh, really?
He was my father-in-law's roommate at one point.
Oh, really?
So they were very close, yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's cool.
My father-in-law has passed away since then, but,
But Brian Dennehy is not.
No,
he is not.
Yeah.
Don't believe what you see in Tommy Boy. He's still kicking.
Yeah.
Now, before you finish your description,
yes,
I just wanted to ask. So Drifter comes into town.
Correct.
Vietnam vet.
Yeah.
He's there to find somebody, a Vietnam buddy. Finds out he's passed away.
Correct. From Agent Orange.
Agent Orange.
Yeah.
Delmar.
Cancer.
Delmar Berry.
Yeah.
And all he wants to do is kind of walk through town, get something to eat, and move on.
That's it.
I just wanted something to eat.
He gets harassed by this sheriff.
Right.
First question I have is a line Lloyd said. I didn't understand, even to this day.
The flag.
Right.
The flag line.
They have the same fucking flag on there.
He's wearing an American flag on his jacket, and Brian Dennehy's character says, a guy looking like you wearing that flag on your chest.
Right.
I don't understand why that's a problem. Am I stupid, or does anybody here understand what that problem is?
No, I've been racking my brain on it and tried to like read up on it to see if anyone else got the lowdown on it. And
If he had a Confederate flag, I'd get it.
Right.
If he had a Nazi symbol,
or
I'd
if the
get
flag's
it.
upside down.
Flag's
or,
upside
sure.
down, or like 30 years ago, it's a gay pride flag or something. I could understand what he's latching onto.
So there's two different schools of thought that I've seen. One is that the flag is not a traditional like rectangular. It's the waving flag, and
right.
it's a little bit askew from everything. So maybe he doesn't scream veteran in it. The other thing is that particular look, and considering how long his hair is and everything else, and the drifter thing, is that
definitely the hair.
He might be a counterculture,
Right.
hipster, whatever for the time, anti-war, if anything.
Even though he's in olive green,
Right.
Yes, right. Well, but remember Forrest Gump, the protest speech, the guy who's, supposedly they based on real life is in that same type of uniform. I don't know. I wasn't around, obviously, but I wonder if that was kind of a particular look that was going on.
I kind of get it now. So
counterculture.
almost like he might be saying like, maybe you're an ex-soldier, but now you're a hippie. Right. You shouldn't be wearing that flag or the way you are now.
You're just not military at all. You're just, like you say, it's a counterculture
guy appropriating a look.
You're a drug abuser, man.
Yeah.
Or he's at least an upstart in some way.
Yeah.
Something that he doesn't want, an element that he doesn't want in his town.
Yeah, it's funny, John. I thought the exact same thing.
I was so confused with that line because I've seen this movie many times. I have not seen it in a long time. And that one line, I was like, it's the fucking American flag.
Yeah, right.
Well,
there's a thing about putting the American flag on clothing. So, and this is, if it's supposed to be
plus his was on the chest. So maybe the location of it. Maybe it should be on the arm.
There's a lot of
something tells me that line has probably confused people for years.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure it meant something more then.
Yeah,
than it does.
Well, especially
now.
because Dennehy, his character is a Korean War veteran.
Right.
So you figure, if anything,
he'd recognize it.
He'd recognize it, or recognize him probably as a soldier. Right. The other thing is that maybe he does recognize him as a soldier, and he just knows he doesn't want the Vietnam kind because it's causing a ruckus around the country. And he's a Korean one, so he kind of like sees him as a lesser than, or that kind of jockeying for position of war hero kind of stuff. So
there was probably some kind of resentment from the Korean War vets at some point because when Vietnam happened, maybe they were forgotten about. Maybe, and again, not to get too far into Vietnam, but Vietnam was this war that many people didn't understand what we were doing,
right?
And a lot of the guys. I mean, this truly was like. Lindsay was watching it with me, and not to skip too far ahead, but at the end,
the baby killer stuff.
Well, yeah, at the end, she looked at me and she said, "This is heart wrenching."
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's
and I said, "You got to realize that this is what happened to a lot of these guys."
Mm-hmm. Yes,
they came back, they fought for their country, whether right, wrong, or indifferent. They're not there to decide why.
Right.
They're there to go, okay, send me over there.
Right.
They take their youth, several years of it.
Yeah.
And they do this thing, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. Again, it's what they said. You go do this.
And based on Stallone's age, you can kind of put that together, too, that he probably served. If he served, he was in Vietnam.
Right.
So, you had to kind of pinpoint that. I don't know if the movie is supposed to be set in 82 proper. They don't kind of really lay that out. But I would imagine, if that's the truth, then he's got some years. And it probably adds up even with Stallone's age, I guess.
I think it's supposed to be. I think because Vietnam ended 74-ish, around there, 5 maybe, actually ended.
Yeah.
I would say this movie probably is early 80s. I think it's supposed to take place very close to when it was made.
Right.
So he ends up in the town, and he starts getting harassed by Sheriff Will Teasel.
Right.
And it's not a long, drawn-out thing. He walks into town, he finds out the guy's dead.
Yeah, he barely makes it in.
He barely makes it in. The guy, he comes right out, picks him right up.
Almost like Diesel had a route.
30 miles down the road to get some food.
Yeah, he's out. Well, here's the thing.
He's got the drifter circle.
And it's kind of true because the number one thing that this sheriff is obsessed with, other than Rambo to begin with, is people taking baths.
Yes, thank you. You caught that too? Because there's a line so early before he gets to Stallone, before he gets to Rambo, he's walking out, he's saying hello to everybody, and then he walks past this one guy, he's like, hey, you gonna take a bath this week? I was like, Jesus Christ. And then from there, every other line from the car ride all the way into the sheriff's station or police station is completely 100%, clean this guy up.
Yeah. Yeah, he's all about giving Rambo a bath.
Yeah.
And getting the other guy a bath. And just, if you're going to be in Hope, Washington, which, by the way, Hope, Washington's banner should read, "We have 2 chevrons on the same road."
Yeah.
Did you by any chance notice at the end of the movie when all the action's happening?
Yeah, when they blow up the gas station.
That main stretch of gas stations, there's one scene where they kind of show you the lineup of the road.
Yeah.
There's a chevron and then, like, let's say a Shell and another one. And there's another chevron.
Competing chevrons.
2 chevrons on the same fucking, like, stretch of road.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you're looking for
funny.
a sheriff station, a nice town with a sheriff station, a gun shop, and 17 gas stations, Hope, Washington.
Yes. And scenic forests.
Yes. Oh, beautiful scenic forests.
Oh, yeah. Which apparently, I heard that, not to get too far ahead again, but like even the caves and all the other things, the mine shafts, all those things are legit.
Yeah.
Like
really?
those are like all over Washington
because
and Oregon.
some of that forest looked rather jungly to me.
Well,
Yeah.
it looks like Vancouver.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
what
which
Is where it was filmed.
Yeah. Okay.
This movie was not. There is no Hope, Washington. It was filmed in British Columbia.
Well,
I didn't
right.
say Vancouver, British Columbia.
There's a point when he finally escapes, and we'll get into that. But where it's so cold, you can see the breath on everybody,
Right.
and I'm like,
well, supposedly because there's snow on the ground when they're and obviously snow-capped mountains and everything else. So it's supposed to be around. Like wintertime, December.
It's hard to tell in the very beginning when he's looking for Delroy or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, Delroy.
Yeah, because it looks very scenic. It's very
Delmar Berry.
Delmar Berry. Yeah.
So tall, we had to put him in the back.
So and then again, another heartbreaking line when the wife says, he was so wasted away, I could lift him off the bed sheets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Jesus, this movie, there were several times I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
There were certain things in this movie that
It doesn't pull any punches.
It doesn't.
No.
It
He
doesn't.
says that, Nom killed him and he didn't even know it.
Yeah, he didn't even know it. Yeah, he got out, but he didn't get out. So October 22nd, 1982, $15 million budget, $47 million in the U.S., $125 worldwide.
Yeah, huge. And that continues to go for parts 2 and 3,
Right.
where
Two
the
is
international box office is way bigger than the domestic.
Yeah. Isn't it true? I haven't seen 3 in a long time.
It's in Afghanistan.
And isn't he fighting alongside the Taliban? I've heard that more than one.
So I was like, is this Charlie Wilson's war? I barely remember. So like, because it's the Russians are in there as well as they're in Afghanistan. So it's essentially the same exact thing as Charlie Wilson's war. So I wonder if it was kind of based on all that was going on at the time.
This is a character. So this is a movie, First Blood, that is essentially about a Vietnam vet who's being bullied.
Yes.
And kind of loses it and
has severe PTSD.
Severe PTSD.
And he never resists. The whole time that, Wesley Teasel,
yeah.
Totally being a dick to him, and he never once resists.
To be honest,
he resists cooperates
a little,
completely.
Well, nah.
Teasel's
he
bad.
He won't let them do the
on the roll the thumb. Roll the thumb.
Yeah.
Teasel's bad, but Galt's
Teasel's bad,
dick.
but Galt's the asshole. The complete asshole.
Galt is a fucking motherfucker. This guy.
Oh yeah. For a simple vagrancy and resisting arrest, quote unquote, concealed weapon, all the added trumped up charges. Like the dude, he gets a fucking prison shower, and he gets treated so horribly. Like it's amazing.
Don't worry about the soap. Shave him dry.
Yeah, I know.
Like
Jesus
what
Christ.
the fuck, dude?
I'm like, really? You're gonna do all this just to appear before the judge?
Right.
This is a little extreme.
Yeah.
Galt,
he hasn't seen a guy down on his luck smelling a little ripe. Yeah. Like what's
now we're putting you in front of the judge in your best Sunday. Get him in a bath.
Which he's getting from where?
Right.
They give him clothes too.
Yeah. Well, they're someone that got to wash his clothes.
I know.
Galt is the current cop who is causing all the bad name for cops. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the guy that's going to shoot someone unarmed.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's the guy who's bored in this little town.
Yeah.
And when they get a little bit of action,
on a power trip. Yeah.
He's on a power trip.
Who's the guy that takes the knife in the beginning when they give him the weapon and he looks at it? He goes, "What do you do with this?" Because that actor has been in a million.
You talking about David Caruso?
No,
David Caruso.
I'll tell you
the
because
dark-haired guy.
Because I have the cast list right here.
Yeah.
So as we always do, let's go over the cast list.
Skinny little David Caruso.
Yeah. Well, first let's start with director. This film was directed by Ted Kotcheff. Ted Kotcheff directed a couple films throughout the years.
He didn't direct any more of mine.
He did not. He directed North Dallas 40.
Yeah.
Which I've never seen, but that's the Nick Nolte kind of about the Cowboys.
That's all right.
Yep.
But even more impressively, in 1988, I think, or 87 or 89. Now, this is the guy who directed First Blood. We've talked about this before, how it's weird sometimes the movies these people go to. Weekend at Bernie's. Yeah, this motherfucker made Weekend at Bernie's.
That was a massive rental hit.
Well,
to
be fair, even though this movie is very violent, I think it's the same body count in both movies.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Jesus.
One. All right,
Terry Kaiser's best job.
This is based. This is based on a novel by David Morrell. The screenplay is all fucked up on this thing.
It's
like a by committee basically, with Sylvester Stallone kind of getting the final, I guess, version.
Yeah, well, because he's got the Rocky credit, he has so much control over the character, and a lot of times I don't know this for certain, but especially with how much this movie got gutted, re-edited, however you want to call it, and I would assume he did a large amount of possible improvisation.
I wouldn't doubt
that
it.
A lot of times they do so much they usually give you.
They give you a writing credit.
I didn't do anything.
Michael Kozal was one of the screenplay writers. He worked on Kojak, Hill Street Blues, Quincy. He did a bunch of 70s TV show. Then a guy named William Sackheim, and then Sylvester Stallone, who, if
it was Sackheim's last screenplay too.
Was it really?
Yeah.
And then Sylvester Stallone. I mean, if you don't know, if you just think of him as a movie star, he wrote Rocky, obviously.
Right.
All the Rockies.
Yeah.
Staying Alive. He wrote Staying and directed Staying Alive.
And he has a
Cobra,
bit part in it,
and he's
too.
in there.
And Cliffhanger. He wrote. I didn't know he wrote Cliffhanger. He wrote Cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
I like Cliffhanger.
Not a fan.
That's all right.
All right. So the cast: Sylvester Stallone is John Rambo.
John J.
John
James Rambo.
What were his qualifications, Lloyd? I think you were reading them off before.
Read him as Richard Crenna.
Yeah.
No, I can't. Advanced weaponry, guerrilla warfare, demolition, sniper, ranger, Green Beret, special forces. He was a POW. There's more I didn't write down.
Let's not mention that he actually says at the end that he could fly a gunship and he drove tanks.
Yeah.
So Rambo was pretty much like the Swiss
Helicopters.
Army knife of soldiers.
Yeah, he's a human weapon.
He was a human weapon. You might know Sylvester Stallone from because he's such a star. I picked 3 shitty movies. Over the Top, the world's greatest arm wrestling movie.
Yeah.
Fist. F. Period. I. Period. S. Period. T.
Yeah.
And Oscar. Oscar.
Oh, really? You didn't go with
Throw Mama from the Train?
No,
not Throw Mama from the Train.
Rhinestone?
What's it?
No. Oh God.
No. You're thinking of
Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
That's the one. Yeah.
Brian Dennehy played Sheriff Will Teasel. Cocoon, Tommy Boy, and Silverado. Cocoon the Return as well. Cocoon the Return.
He also is a Golden Globe winner for Death of a Salesman.
That's right. You're right.
TV
HBO,
movie.
right? It was an HBO movie.
Yeah.
Richard Crenna, who, by the way, let me just tell you, Richard Crenna and Colonel Troutman. In this film, Colonel Troutman has all the best lines and delivers them the best. Like, just everything he says is gold.
He's a trailer character in this movie. He's on 10 the whole time and has the lines that are all just adding to the backstory, the legend of Rambo.
Every good...
How did you come in and scared that shit out of us?
every good, like, kind of like line, and like you said, he's like Rambo's hype man.
Yeah.
Like if Rambo was Chuck D, then Richard Crenna was Flavor Flav.
Yeah.
Very true.
You know, hit him in the chest, D. You know, because like he's just basically telling, like, at one point, what does he say? Like, 200 to you versus him. How do you think it's gonna end? He's like, you better bring a lot of body bags.
Yeah. Well, John, what I would say is that 911 was a joke in their town.
It was a joke in their town. It did not work out. Get up, and get
There's
down.
a lot of jokes in this. We'll get there.
He plays Colonel Troutman. He was in Leviathan, which I watched recently. He was in Hot Shots Part 2. I haven't seen that in years. But
playing a very similar character.
He plays a very similar character.
Yeah.
He kind of got typecast after this role.
Yes, he did.
Really did.
He was a character actor anyway.
He was, but this role really defined him at the tail end of his career, and he just basically did this. It was
he had quite a stretch after his big break, because he had his big break early on television.
Yeah.
And where he was doing kind of like, I think, Old West stuff, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Like the Real McCoys and Slattery's People and stuff. The only movie I remember him in outside of this movie, probably because I'm only 37, I haven't seen a lot of Crenna, but Wait Until Dark, which is a pretty good movie.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Okay.
Right. Lloyd, we did a couple years ago our top horror movies, and that was on Lloyd's list.
Oh, really? Wow. Yeah. It's been a minute since I've seen it, but I remember enjoying it a lot. But that's the only time I remember seeing Richard Crenna.
It's an interesting throwback there. Lloyd.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I always think of Crenna as two things, just because of my age, like where I was watching movies. Was he's Troutman first of all,
For sure.
And he was the douchebag in Summer Rental. That John Candy. Remember, he was a real douchebag. Yeah. He owned the town.
Right. Yeah.
So
I didn't remember those.
Yes,
that's
Summer
cool.
Rental.
Yeah.
Okay, here's an interesting one. So let me see if I get the guy's name right.
Anything for a paycheck.
Jack Starrett played Galt. Okay,
Right.
Here's the first incredible fact about this gentleman, and it goes back to our Pint Movie Invitational with Lloyd, where we talked about Wilford Brimley. Jack Starrett, who played Galt, was 44 when they filmed this.
Right.
That dude don't look 44.
No.
The guy that's
54 at least.
Yeah.
60, I'd say. I'd say
Oh,
60.
I didn't think he was that old.
I thought he looked kind of old.
He looked about the same age as Dennehy's character to me. So
See, I thought he was a little older.
it's the mustache.
Do you know his the one movie that I saw?
Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, he plays Gabby Johnson. Do you remember
Oh,
the scene?
no way!
He does. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's basically like this buck-toothed, I was about to call him a drifter, like this yokel in the town where they're having like the town meeting about the
It's all the Johnsons.
Yeah, and he just spouts like a bunch of rambling, and people are like, "Yeah,
That's right, Gabby Johnson."
Like it's all his,
I haven't seen that in a long time.
Oh, yeah,
that's a great movie.
Yeah, he's like cartoonish.
He was one of those guys, he guest starred in the A-Team on Knight Rider. But here's where it gets interesting. And this ties us to our friends at the Mobile Horror Companion. He directed some movies in the 70s. And there was an episode of the Mobile Horror Companion where they were talking about horror movies that were like kind of unsung that they loved. And they mentioned a movie called Race with the Devil with Peter Fonda.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
He directed that movie.
No kidding. That one stayed with me as a kid. It's just one of those creepy satanic movies.
And that's how they brought it up on the Mobile Horror Companion.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Was they said it was like one that they saw when they were too young.
Yeah.
And
it'll
Jack
freak
Starrett,
you out.
Yeah, Jack Starrett made that movie.
And it's got a typical 70s ending where it's like, are they dead? Are they alive? What the hell just happened?
Right.
I think they're all dead.
Yeah. So that's very interesting. Chris Mulkey is who you're thinking of. He plays one of the Ward. Chris Mulkey
Ward.
was in The Hidden. He was in Runaway. He was in Cloverfield. He's very
been
recognizable.
everywhere. Yeah.
And his character
And he's
ends
been
up,
on TV all over the place.
Oh, you're talking about the guy who didn't or was supposed to shave him.
the one who's supposed to shave him.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Yeah. Because I recognized him too, and I was
He's
like,
in everything.
He's in everything.
Yeah.
When they took the knife from Rambo and they threw it on his desk and he pulls it out and he's like, "Whoa, what did you do with this?"
Right.
Hunt.
I hunt.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you hunt?
You. And finally, we'll just go with this last one. Can't miss him. He played sheriff or Deputy Mitch. David Caruso.
David Caruso.
We know him from
Skinny
NYPD Blue and CSI Miami and Jade. Remember
God,
Jade?
Jade.
We also remember him from taking his sunglasses off.
Yeah.
And quitting his show. Like, what a weird dude.
And this is how many years before Officer and a Gentleman? Because I think that was the first.
Oh, was he in that too?
Yeah.
Probably within a year, I'd say.
Yeah.
He was in that movie with Nick Cage, too.
Oh, that was
With Junior.
Yeah, Nick Cage was really big.
Yeah, really big.
He played like what was Streets of something, Power of something. I can't remember, but I know what you're talking about.
Yep.
It was the same year as Jade.
There's one other actor in there that I noticed at the end credits that I don't remember in the movie at all. It said Bruce Greenwood, guard number 5.
Bruce Greenwood's in this?
Yeah.
Really?
That'd be funny if
So whoever guard number 5
we'll
is...
have to take a better
I'll
look
have
at
to
it.
look back on it. I only went to like the top 6 or whatever.
Yep.
Interesting. All right, so that's your cast.
Just to clarify, I think maybe in the entire cast there are 2 women that have speaking lines and one's a waitress.
Yeah.
This is a masculine movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
God, yeah.
It's full of testosterone.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think of who was the waitress. When was that?
When Krenna was at the bar and they were ordering drinks,
Yeah.
I think she had a
Oh,
line
Jesus,
like,
Yeah.
"What can I get you?"
Yeah.
You know, that was it. Otherwise, it's the woman in the beginning of the movie. That's
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there last night. I'm like, there are no women in this movie.
First blood equals sausage fest.
That wouldn't fly now. There's no way you could do that nowadays.
I don't know if you could.
I don't think there's
I
any
don't
way
think
you
so.
could make this movie again.
Oh, not like this.
Because
Although they had many imitators.
there was
Oh,
many
sure,
imitators,
yeah.
but in 2019, because I'll tell you, like, and again, we're gonna go through everything, and talk about stuff. But
Sure.
when you get to the end of the movie, and it's essentially Rambo in the town, kind of like like evading them, it screams active shooter.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so Like, again, I've seen this movie through my life, and you never looked at it through those eyes until what we're going through in the world.
For sure.
And it's like just screams like active shooter situation.
And he kind of gets away with it.
Yes.
Right.
So,
But how many sheriff's department have like speakers on the roof of the building so they can warn the populace?
Yeah, I was impressed by that.
and a very convenient glass window on the roof.
I'm like, what is going on with this?
So he goes into town.
Hope, Washington, dangerous place to be. Yeah.
Teasel gives him shit. They bring him back, and when they bring him back, and they're gonna put him in front of the judge in a couple days for vagrancy. They're gonna shave him, and he starts having flashbacks.
Yeah.
The flashback scenes are cool.
The flashback scenes are cool because they're quick.
They're quick, and they really drive it home what's happening.
They do.
You know,
What's the whole POW situation? It's alarming how good it was.
As soon as he takes his shirt off and you see the damage done.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
Caruso.
Caruso is the only non.
He's the voice of reason.
Right.
He's the voice of reason.
Which is why he died so early because they needed him out of the way.
Plus he's
so that
skinny.
way, I don't think it's a mistake that Caruso gets out of the way to make way for Toutman to kind of like be the next guy to kind of be like, listen, this guy had his chance to stop you, and now I'm going to try to stop
Now it's
him.
me.
Yeah.
Other thing I want to bring up about the flashback sequences. Damn, man, did Sylvester Stallone play a badass with a fucking Fu Manchu or what?
Oh, yeah.
Like, man, why did he never rock that look in any other movie? Like, if Rambo First Blood Part 2,
Probably wasn't really his.
he had a Fu Manchu, that movie would have made an extra $100 million.
Well, and if any movie needed it, it was Over the Top.
Yeah. If
Spin that hat backwards, have him stroking the Fu Manchu.
Stroking the Fu Manchu.
my
I mean,
God,
his character's name in that movie
was you.
his character's name in Over the Top was already Lincoln Hawk.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't get much more badass than that unless you have a Fu
Unless
Manchu.
you have a Fu Manchu.
Yeah. So they're okay, Andrew, take over here. They're tormenting him.
Yeah, they're putting the screws to him. Their first notion of what this guy probably is, besides obviously seeing the weapons that he has on him, and having fucking dog tags, they just ignore.
Which, by the way, they don't
really?
just take off of him.
They had
nicely.
to rip it off.
They got to rip it off.
Yeah,
and that was Caruso who did that.
Yeah, it was Caruso. And then on top of that, I thought Rambo would have had a bigger reaction to that happening.
I thought so too.
He didn't have a bigger reaction to that because I think they did a good job in that scene of showing that he was already like in PTSD space out mode.
He definitely was, but that alone probably. Well, I thought that would have done more, but
no, I agree, but I think they did a good job of just showing like him, like he was just like he was trying to like stay sane in that point.
Well, he already had knocked himself back a notch because he already almost flipped before that.
Right.
And actually, when he reached for it the first time, when he reached for the dog tags, that's when he flipped, and then they had to kind of threaten him with the billy club and everything else to knock him back a notch. And then they did it. So he was already kind of subdued, quote unquote, to do that. So, you get to see that. And then when they take him to get his shower, they have him take off his shirt. They see all the damage done from all the POW camp, all the torture that he's been through, all the scar tissue that he has on front and back.
Somebody says something. I know it's probably
Caruso
Caruso.
does.
He's
He's like, Jesus, should we say something to Teasel? And of course,
I think Caruso admires Rambo. He doesn't. Caruso admires Rambo.
Well, I think he's more of a humanitarian. He doesn't know about him yet. He's going to run his name. You don't get that back until much later because it's a teletype.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, right. The teletype.
Yeah, I don't know if he so much admires him as he's just not a piece of shit.
Right. Yeah.
Like he's going to give this guy and then especially too, dog tags. You kind of understand that, okay, this guy doesn't like him because he's a vet. And now you see this and it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Two things should go through your mind at that point. A, let's respect this guy, and B, if he could live with that.
This guy's been through a lot. What the fuck are we doing?
They should have already known that maybe he's going to be able to fucking do what he ends up doing.
I was going to say, shout out to Galt because he sees Rambo with his shirt off, jacked beyond belief, has scars all over his body. So clearly he survived something real treacherous. And he's still like, let me just walk up to this guy and take his knees out and kick him while he's down.
You get the quick flashback of like the Viet Cong soldier like fucking like taking a fucking machete and going across his chest.
Yeah.
So he ends up He ends up escaping.
So he gets his shower.
He gets out. He fucking loses it. He gets his shower. They fucking hose him down.
Yeah, gets some sweet Stallone ass.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. How long into the movie are we at this point? 10 minutes, maybe?
15 at the most.
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Because I think it takes,
just explodes.
I want to say it takes 25 minutes to get to the forest. Whatever.
Yeah, but the chase scene, you got to have that car chase scene.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when he grabs the motorcycle. And
That car chase scene is fucking awesome.
It is awesome.
It's
Ford
awesome.
LTD is just going through the woods and...
Well, I got one question.
I
What
love
do you-
that.
After the shower and whatnot, they go to shave him.
Yes.
And then it was a girl that says, we don't need the cream. Just shave him dry. He's a man. What the fuck do they need to shave him for?
Oh, they wanted to make him presentable for the judge.
Yeah.
Because it's necessary.
He said that. He said, we got to have you look
cut
good.
his hair.
Because apparently Hope Washington is like getting into the New York Yankees. He has to have a certain cut. He has to have a shave
not going to
down.
be presentable if you shave him dry.
No,
Right.
he's going to have a bunch of
cut all
fucking
over his head.
toilet paper, blood blisters.
Although I would have loved to see them actually finish the shave to see him go, ooh, you got a little nick right there. Like,
Ouch.
does that bother you? Is that hurt?
Or they finish the shave and then they hit him up with the aqua velva.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Rambo's
I want to
like,
see him freak out about that when he went through POW camp.
They don't get anywhere near him with that blade, though.
no.
No, because as soon as he freaks out seeing the blade, which is another flashback sequence from the POW stuff, they pull him back with the billy club right under the chin into
Kind of
the
a
neck.
full Nelson move. Yeah.
Correct. And then he also has another flashback of being strung up in the same similar pose. And then that's when all the wheels come off.
He beats the fuck out of everybody, but non-lethally.
Yeah. But I'm sure you guys agree.
He pushes about 4 people through windows.
There's so many windows, people getting thrown through windows, which I loved every single one.
Yeah.
And my 2 favorite ones are the people who don't suspect shit and they just
just get it.
So like there's I think
Well,
one really good one is Teasel's, because I think Teasel comes through and that's when he like grabs onto the bar and swing kicks him over, which is great. I love anything with momentum. That one is so good. That's just, it's perfect.
That's a soundbite right there.
That's a good one.
And then my favorite one is the guy just walking into the station holding groceries, going, "Hey, what's going on?" And then immediately gets fucking taken out at the legs and his shit just flies everywhere. And my favorite part of that is not just like the unsuspecting guy getting taken out, is the people just sitting there not reacting whatsoever. Just like, another day in Hope, Washington.
The cop that he elbows in the face.
Yeah.
That hits the ground towards like one of the last ones before he leaves.
Yeah.
Through the rest of the movie, he's got a bandage and black eyes.
Yeah, it's good continuity.
Stallone broke his nose in real life.
Really?
Yeah, I was reading up on like all the stuff about it.
Well, Stallone does a lot of his own stunts too, and you can really tell. Like it's seamless.
The scene where he jumps off the cliff face.
Yeah.
Obviously not him.
Right.
The drop from a certain amount of the tree down was him.
Right.
And he broke his ribs hitting the ground. He said when he hit the ground, he lets out that scream, not fake.
Wow.
Broke his ribs, hitting one of the branches on the way down.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so someone did the jump off of that, and then they set him up high enough up to like kind of fall the rest of the way.
Right.
Cracked his ribs.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible that they would let him do that.
So Lloyd, did you enjoy the dirt bike Ford LTD chase?
Yeah, I thought that was a good chase. I did.
It wasn't even impressive.
Commercial for Ford.
It wasn't even impressive for what the dirt bike could do. That
the car
fucking
could do.
LTD is jumping across train tracks, is driving over fucking boulders.
Yes, and can I also say that my favorite part of the whole thing, you're going to easily add up that I'm a cruel human being who loves basic things. Because we're in the age of like Fast and the Furious and all these crazy car chases and, going in 60 seconds, some crazy stuff. This one, it's an incredible chase that ends with just oops, and the LTD just slowly falls over. Yeah. It is so funny to watch.
It is.
He hits that critical angle on a rock.
Yeah,
because there's a couple of times
you
you
think,
think,
oh shit. Because how many times have you like tried to park in park like in a forest or something, like some area where it's mostly dirt or something, and you just go that one bit too far and you're like fuck. fuck, and you just end up falling over.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if any of you guys have driven that particular model.
No.
But I have.
The heaviest thing I ever drove was a 73 Impala. So, yeah.
Well, that's pretty
Which is heavy
too.
as fuck,
Yeah.
but not with the balls that this one does.
Yeah, well, these cars were heavy.
Yeah, to get
Detroit
airborne is
steel.
impressive.
Yeah, and if it's supposed to be a cop car, you've got a much bigger motor in it, which is going to give it the power. But you're driving this thing in the woods, in rainy conditions.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just slogging it out in the mud. I'm like,
The 1979 Ford LTD.
Yeah,
Right.
It's
Chase
gotta
a
be
dirt bike in the woods, motherfucker.
When is the first Smokey and the Bandit?
Yeah, it's around the same.
78 or 79.
Okay, so a little earlier than this.
Yeah.
So it's so funny, again, even just to see the juxtaposition between what they did with that and this.
And the ridiculous cop accessories on it. You get those giant lights, the giant red and blue light.
Yeah.
There's one point where again he does one of his many aerial maneuvers in the LTD.
Yeah.
And he hits the ground and like something I couldn't even identify flies off the vehicle.
Oh, I love it when
it wasn't a hubcap. It was like a fucking like it might have been like the fucking muffler shoots out of the back.
He made a jump at one point over a stone fence into a farm.
Oh, yeah.
And you hear the horn go because it's the driver hitting the steering wheel.
I love that they kept that in.
That was great. I'm like, that's happened to me.
Lloyd, did you ever have a 1979 Ford LTD?
No, I didn't.
No.
Oh
So-
my god!
so Rambo-
Ford Fairmont,
that's
that's
a
about-
big,
So
big
get
car.
us up to the next point now, Lloyd. Rambo gets into the woods. He ditches the bike because he can't go any higher up.
He can't go any higher up. He goes up a little further, trying to get away from Sheriff Teasel over there, and he just finds a little sort of place where he can cut up some. The hell was that he cut up anyway?
I got an interesting story.
some kind of tarpaulin.
It was a rotted canvas that was not supplied by production.
God, he found
So
it
he
out there.
found
He found it.
Oh.
He made that out of it, and supposedly he said he still owns it. He
Wow.
kept it.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I was
And it
pretty
was-
impressed because it looks functional.
Yeah.
It's kind of the iconic look when you think of Rambo in the woods.
It's basically
That's- yeah,
it's
kinda
basically
is,
the
yeah.
poncho that he wears.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty amazing that he just found that. And
Yep.
did that.
Yeah.
A lot of found shit out there.
So he's out there in the woods now.
Right. So it leads out, and like I said, where the funniest fall off the cliff moment ever, where Dennehy is now upside down in the car, just trying to get out.
Well, they both got to wipe out at the same time.
Yeah, he wipes out right afterwards because the
Yeah.
bike kind of gets out from under him
Yep.
and kind of flies.
He's
It
pretty
seemed very
good.
And
put
that is
on.
when he stops,
Oh, yeah.
right? He stops on the bike and looks over and sees Dennehy flipped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I
he tries to
think
go
he
up
just
the
sort
hill.
of makes sure
Yeah.
that he's alive, I think.
Oh no, he absolutely.
Yeah.
You almost for a second think he's going to help him.
Right.
But I think he realizes that this guy is
He's
not
gonna
going to
win.
do. He's not going to. This is not the guy who, if I help him out, is going to go. You're not a bad dude.
Right.
Dennehy has already proven that he's like fucking a little unhinged.
Yes.
And he's got a boner for non-bathed people.
Yeah.
Big boner for that.
Yeah.
Which, as he said earlier, I think he said that Rambo smelled like a. What did he say? He smells like an animal. Yeah, give him a bath. He smells like an animal. So this is kind of like the second.
Soap him
Then
up.
the dogs come in at this point.
The dogs come in. The helicopter
Now,
comes in.
That guy. Do you have him on the cast list?
I did not.
Because I
That the old guy?
yeah,
with the
I'm
dog?
pretty
Yeah.
sure he's been in a million things too. He's another one of those character actors that because he's got that voice that carries through.
My babies are going to eat tonight.
I have to look it up.
I have to say this one just before we get too deep and I lose it. One of my favorite quotes was in the sheriff's station that it's Galt right as they're giving him the bath. Do you remember it?
No.
He's talking to Mitch when Mitch walks away because he doesn't want anything to do with the prison bath that
Oh,
he
that's
basically
right.
gets with the
I'm,
fire
I'm
hydrant.
not doing anything with this. Yeah, he walks out.
He's like, "What's your problem, Mitch? Don't you like water sports?"
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, I do remember that.
I must have missed that.
No, I totally heard that.
That's a bit gross.
There are a few choice lines, and that is one of them. I don't
Yeah.
think we missed any of my other favorites. Hold on.
Oh, he's got a whole list of favorites.
He's got a list of favorite lines.
Probably didn't get there. Not too many
really.
yet.
No, yeah, we're not there.
So
yet,
essentially,
yeah.
this is a 3-act movie, right? First
Yes.
act is the capture and the police stuff.
Right.
We're now in the second act, which is basically Rambo in the woods.
The fugitive.
The fugitive.
Yeah,
and
it looks a lot like
Right.
it, especially even you get into the cliff scene,
Yeah.
the cliff dive, the whole
he
thing.
dives off a cliff.
Get to the dam.
Now again, let's remember we kind of talked about this before, and we kind of foreshadowed it. Only one person dies in this movie.
Yes.
He kills nobody, but he kills a fuckload of dogs. And I don't blame him, because, I mean, these things are going to rip you apart, but he kills 3 dogs.
What's the animal that he eats in the woods?
That's
a boar.
kind of boar.
Is that a boar?
Yeah.
I thought it was a boar.
He kills
at least
a boar.
a wild pig, you know.
Yeah.
He made himself a nice big. He took the leg and he made himself a nice
Took
fucking
a huge chunk.
He took a huge chunk. It was almost like he was planning on living there for a while.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I got my own mine shaft. They're not going to find me after a week or two. They'll be done.
Yeah.
So we get now. This is the scene where we get the one death.
Yes.
So when he goes over that cliff, he's got no choice. He can't go back. They're right behind him.
The helicopter's got him up against the wall.
Right. And
but
Galt's
he
shooting
just
at him
climbs
already.
over that cliff and says, "Yeah, I think I could jump into that tree down there." Holy shit!
Well, like Troutman says later on, this is a guy that his entire business is survival and death. Right. So, like, I think he was at the point where he was like, either I die or I don't. But I'm not going to die from these dudes.
Right.
So I'm going to jump into that tree, and that scene's crazy.
That's nuts.
That even though again, someone really jumped off that cliff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some wonderful stuntman did that.
Yeah.
And it's super impressive. And then the scene where you get the one death is Galt is in the helicopter. He unbuckles his seatbelt, which he should never have done.
Yeah.
He's abusive to the helicopter pilot.
Yeah.
Which is key. Hey,
the helicopter pilot.
I can't. I'm in a thermal draft.
Yeah, the helicopter pilot yells at him. And after he corners Rambo against a tree, takes a couple pot shots at him, Rambo throws a rock that hits the windshield, and Galt falls about, 40, 50 feet to his death.
Yeah.
Not Rambo's fault necessarily. He was defending himself.
Right.
He says it. It's not my fault.
I didn't do anything.
Here's where you know Rambo's tough.
Yeah.
He comes out and kind of like starts to surrender himself to Teasel.
Right.
He's on the ground. They're up on the cliff face. Puts his hands up and is telling them, I didn't do it. I didn't kill him. He's very much so, seems like he's about to give up.
Yeah.
Right.
Teasel is not going to fire at him.
Right.
His deputies get all goofy and fire.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Those fucking
That's
Barney
it.
Fife
That started
assholes.
it.
Oh,
That's what starts it. But
Between them and the National Guard
National
people
Guardsmen-
is the dumbest shit.
This was such a hatred of the National Guard.
Oh,
this movie.
yeah.
I mean,
the National Guard doesn't want to do his job because he has to be at work the next day.
yeah. I gotta open the pharmacy tomorrow.
They're
or whatever
weekend
the fuck he
warriors.
said.
Weekend Warriors.
come on, Carl, go up there and do it. I'm not. No, he's firing back at us.
But how do you know, Lloyd, how do you know how tough Rambo is in that scene?
How do you know how tough he is?
Because they never really get back to it again, but it also gives
So
us an iconic Rambo look.
Well, he's standing there and he's got his hands up and they
gets
start shooting
shot in
at
the fucking head.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's a skim. They shoot at him and he goes, oh, and he goes, hold his head. But the next time you see Rambo,
He's got the bandana.
he's got the bandana.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny that I'm again, now we didn't really get too far into this.
Right.
This is a movie that was 3.5 hours long upon first cut.
Yes.
Stallone hated it.
Yeah.
Stallone's agent hated it.
Yeah.
They thought at one point that they were going to try to buy it back from the studio
Yeah. And
and
burn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. He kind of took control, edited it to an hour and 30 minutes. It's short.
It's an hour and 28.
Hour 28 minutes.
It's impressive.
So you've got to think there must have been a scene where he climbs out into the woods and examines his head. Because in this movie, they really do a weird job of never mentioning that.
Right.
It seems like he gets shot in the head.
Yeah.
Again, not dead.
Right.
Covers his head, runs off, and then the next thing you know, he seems fine again, except he's wearing a bandana.
Right.
I'm thinking there's a cut scene where he like is.
Oh, you know what?
for
I guess
sure.
I'm just sort of missed that part.
Oh, he gets shot right in the fucking
I
head.
mean, I remember him goring his arm, sewing that up.
He sews his
Which,
arm
by
up.
the way, super impressive
Yeah,
to have
that
a
was-
sewing kit in your knife.
Yeah.
Like, it
that was-
already has the compass bottom.
Yeah, I was reading
And then-
about the knife.
Do you not remember those? You were probably too
They
young
had
for
a-
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, the survival knives
survival
after
kit.
the movie were everywhere. So
Oh,
you
I
could buy
bet.
these
Yeah.
cheap versions of the Rambo knife
Yeah.
with the
Do
kit
you have the
in
info
the
on the knife
handle.
or no?
Well, just to make you feel old, John, I was...
It's too late.
I did, but I didn't
I
remember.
was 5 months old when this movie came out.
You guys are like, what, I've never driven anything like that.
A famous blade maker from Arkansas who died in 1991 named Jimmy Lyle made this blade.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of funny that this is all happening. And I don't know if I didn't read fully into it, if it has to do with the fact that the new movie's coming out this week.
Yeah.
But on September 11th, which was a week ago for us, there was a huge auction of 100 Rambo knives that he had made in the course of the years after.
Oh,
Oh,
interesting.
It's a specific type of knife that Stallone hired him to make. It's a combat hunting knife
Right.
with a hollow handle.
Right.
So you could store matches,
Yeah.
fucking
compass.
Compass.
Yeah.
Well, the compass is in
needle and thread.
Yeah.
And also, because it's hollow and they don't show it in the movie, you could fix it on the end of a stick and make a spear out of it.
Sure.
That's true.
So, but I mean, yes, I know you're younger than us.
Yeah.
That Rambo knife.
They were everywhere.
Was everywhere. And and especially
knockoff version.
Especially in
Well,
85.
I had one.
They still had them in the subsequent movies to come because I remember watching the behind the scenes of the making of the first, like the whole trilogy that's on the trilogy set that I have, and they make mention of how this first knife is paltry in terms of like where they go from here. Like it's bigger movie, bigger action, bigger knife every single time. By the third one, it's a fucking machete.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you have to think,
style.
you have to think about how important the knife is to him, that he takes it from the police station when he escapes.
When he leaves, he makes it a point to grab the knife.
Oh, yeah. It makes a very significant
It's Indiana
point.
Jones grabbing the hat from under the thing.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't go without this.
Well, I mean, there's a reason he had it, and it's more than a keepsake.
Yeah.
And you are right.
Which he also has his Indiana Jones moment in the mine shaft or whatever there as well with the rats as well. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I love him just whipping rats around. It's so good.
Yeah, he's tossing those fucking
I
rats.
was like, man, there's an awful lot of rats out there for no good reason. But
Yeah.
it's okay.
Well, it's underground.
Yeah.
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 It's an abandoned shaft.
Sure. Because there's a lot of food.
So he's hiding out underground. They're basically got him boxed in. He's ended up in this mine shaft. So this is the whole kind of like second, act of the movie is kind of them waiting him out.
Right.
Troutman shows up.
Well, even better, the news crews.
Yes.
The news crew show up.
That news guy was hilarious.
It's just sad,
Just like, oh, how good the police are doing
Right?
here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's going to be dead within the hour or
sure.
whatever. It's like,
Oh,
really?
it's all
That was the
like
best
that.
line.
Say that.
That was the best line.
Oh, the bravery by the officers.
Yes.
Their knowledge and skill got them out.
Yeah.
We just got word that he should be caught and dead within the hour.
Right.
Who says that?
Yeah.
And
that was
this
weird.
is after he's already taken out all the deputies.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He ends up getting out, right? How does he get
Well,
he end up
before
getting
that,
out?
I
Oh, yeah,
think
go ahead.
they're like kind of got this like base of operation, right? And they're talking about Rambo, and that's when Krenna shows up because they're saying, how could God make a man like John Rambo? Well, Krenna shows up and said,
it's right before Krenna is
God
the
didn't
state
make
police.
it.
Yeah.
So all the state police show up. Whereas when
and he's
the
bitching at the
camera
state
crews and
cop.
everything else.
Fred,
Yeah.
don't you give me any of that jurisdictional shit, Fred.
I love it when the one guy, the deputy with the glasses that comes in to tell the state police guy and Teasel like, oh, I heard they were kind of roughing him up before I do that. And the guy just goes, assholes! It was such a perfect time. I was like, Jesus, the state police guy is all serious. And he's just like, assholes! Like he's in a Mel Brooks movie. It's perfect.
God.
Don't give me that jurisdictional shit here.
Yeah. There's some good stuff in there.
there's
and
great
you
stuff.
get the cock swinging that's going on as soon as
so
Troutman
good.
shows up.
Yeah.
God didn't make him. I made him.
Yeah.
I like one of my. I don't. Do you have any Troutman lines there? No. One of my favorite lines in the whole movie is when I'm going to paraphrase it, but when he says, what did you arrest him for? Vagrancy? That's going to look great on his gravestone in Arlington.
Oh, yeah.
Here lies John Rambo, survived so many incursions behind enemy lines, arrested for vagrancy in Jerkwater, USA.
And we missed one other clutch scene, a little snippet that I love. One of my favorite quotes was after Galt's dead and they're down in the belly of the cliff dive, whatever the bottom of
They
the
gotta get his
ravine
body
or whatever
out.
the hell it's supposed to be. Mitch and Teasel have an exchange where I have it here. He's like, "Why don't you let the state police handle this?" And Teasel grabs Mitch by the neck. He's like, Look at him! Look at him! That's Art Galt, boy! He and I were friends when your mama was still wiping your nose!
Yeah.
Now he's dead. He's dead because of that psycho out there. Now you listen, boy, and you listen to me good. I'm gonna get that son of a bitch, and I'm gonna pin that Congressional Medal of Honor to his liver.
Yeah.
I was like, his liver?
I like that.
Like, what?
He's
What
like,
the fuck?
pinned to his liver. That's a good one. Yeah.
There's some weird old timey slang in the 80s era.
Yeah.
Like we did our show. I don't know if it would be out before this or after this, we did our show on Day of the Dead with Larry.
Yeah.
And there's one bit where the character Rhodes yells out, don't give me that Greek salad. Yeah. And it's what the fuck does that mean?
Well, when Toutman comes in, they start having that exchange. That's when my next favorite one comes in.
Those two guys they just chewed up.
Oh, they
the
chew it
scenes.
up. Yeah.
It's so much testosterone. It's nuts. I mean, and you get really good exchanges between the two of them as far as the personalities of the characters.
Oh, yeah.
And you honestly...
Well, the other thing with Troutman, too, that is really important.
Teasel's not wrong about Troutman. You can feel that as you're watching it because Troutman, he just wanders in and he's gonna save his boy.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
you're gonna wander him right back out.
And Troutman is certainly not a one-note character.
No, he's not.
He's not there just for Rambo's sake or saving them.
No.
He knows that Rambo fucked up, but he also knows that they fucked up too.
Well, that's what Teasel's there. He's like, you're just here to cover your own ass.
Right.
He says it at least 3 times.
All right.
Yeah, he said...
Master, give us some.
One of your machines blew a gasket.
Right. Master, give us some good Troutman lines.
one,
give us a couple good Troutman lines.
Well, you want to go down to the end. Those are the ones I got.
Okay, we'll wait till the end.
Did we say the body bag one?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, but do you have that?
yeah.
You have that one down, like the full version of it.
Of the body bag?
Yeah. Okay, I'm not 100% sure with either.
I could ad-lib it.
So you already did the rundown of what he says that he's good at. That whole, what is it? Yeah, he's the best with guns, knives, his bare hands, all that
stuff.
The one part you don't mention, which is one of my favorite lines, is, and he's in the middle of that speech, he's like, a man who's been trained to ignore pain, ignore weather, to live off the land, to eat things that would make a billy goat puke.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
He is off the chain right now. Yeah. Billy goat puke.
Now, before we get to the,
I actually do have that one.
to the end, before we get to the end of the film and transition to the
Now that you're done scaring us.
to the active shooter scene, I did want to bring up one other part that I thought was really funny. So there's a scene like in that middle section where the National Guard and the sheriffs and the deputies are looking for Rambo in the woods. And it's a Home Alone scene, kind of like we talked about, where he sets up a bunch of punji traps and everything.
Yeah.
But here's what I find hilarious about that scene, is he takes each deputy out one at a time.
Yeah.
Okay, and he gets Teasel and he holds him against the tree and puts a knife to his throat and tells him, this is a war you don't want. Stop pushing.
Right.
But when every one of the deputies gets hurt, they're like a 7-year-old kid calling for their dad.
Yeah.
They all call for Teasel.
Oh, yeah.
The first one, he ends up getting the things in his legs. Will! The next guy, he gets strung up or something.
Yeah.
Will! I'm like, are these deputies or is this like the junior AV club at a fucking 8th grade?
Well, it gets no better when the National Guard comes in and they're all just firing guns willy-nilly.
Yeah.
And when he starts firing back at them, they're all like ducking for cover, ready to leave.
They're like, you go in that cave.
Well,
there's that one scene when they're all lying still and then you see them move one at a time.
I thought the one dude was dead.
Yeah, I did.
The guy on the right, I'm like, I thought he killed nobody in this movie. He killed one of the National Guard guys. No, the dude is just not going to move.
He's just playing possum.
But you get the one National Guard guy, though, he has his one moment of glory. What does he pull out?
He pulls out the rocket launcher.
He pulls out the fucking rocket launcher.
Who the hell is giving this fucking guy?
That's what I thought.
I love that. It's like, who's got the rocket launcher?
Yeah.
I got it. The M136.
Yeah, he blasts he blasts it shut.
Can I tell you? I don't know if you guys.
And then
sorry, I don't know if we're skipping right to this part because we skipped over the end of Troutman, but with the shaft exploding, the shaft, it looked exactly like when Bill Murray blows up the dynamite in the Gopher. He does the same little shimmy run into the shaft and dives in. And I was like, holy shit, he's the Gopher from Caddyshack.
Yeah. John J. Gopher.
And then they're all standing in there like in Jaws. Like they're all celebrating.
Oh, they're taking pictures.
Taking pictures with the shark.
What does he say? It's like, this one's for national. Not
Oh,
national
no, wasn't
rifle.
it Soldier of Fortune?
Soldier of Fortune. That's what
They're all excited about what they just did, and then Teasel's like, fucking start digging them out.
Yeah.
And he's like, I gotta open the pharmacy tomorrow. I don't care, Cartland or whatever his name is. Like, dig them the fuck out.
Yeah.
You made the mess.
So here's another great line. So you think Rambo's dead? Rambo gets out of a ladder out into the woods again, right?
Right.
He ends up hijacking one of the convoy.
Yeah.
Do you remember the great line he says to the kid who's driving the convoy vehicle, Lloyd? Do you remember?
No.
The kid is driving the convoy vehicle back to Hope, Washington. Rambo jumps in, he's got the knife to the guy's throat, and he tells him to drive. The guy looks at Rambo and is like, I got no beef with you, I got no beef with you. Rambo actually says this line. He says, "Keep your eyes on the road. That's how accidents happen."
Yes, he does.
like in all this mayhem and PTSD nightmare, Rambo has enough time to give you the more you know moment.
Instructor.
Yeah, and then to really put the cherry on top, he kicks the dude out of the moving vehicle.
I don't need you anymore.
I don't need you anymore.
You didn't use your blinker.
Pay attention to the road. That's how accidents happen. Well, thank
Tuck
you.
and roll, bitch.
But so, in between that, is that when Troutman has the conversation? No, he's in the mine at this point, right?
He's in the mine, yeah.
So
Well,
that's when they have
Troutman-
the Troutman conversation, right?
Yeah.
Troutman realizes
And he
right
talks
away
about-
that he's not dead. He's looking up and he's seeing
Right.
smoke or whatever the
Right.
hell is coming
Yeah,
out.
Troutman
of it.
knows he got
He
out.
knows.
Right.
And Troutman gets
or
a
is
hold
it-
of him on the radio in the mine.
Yeah.
Which I always love it, and they made fun of this in Family Guy, and it makes me laugh every time I hear it. Where anytime they say the name of the movie in the movie,
I said that to Lindsay that night. Because Family Guy.
do first blood.
Yeah.
You do.
they do first blood, not me.
The famous line. And as soon as he said it, I went. He said the name of the movie in the movie. Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah, it's perfect.
They get back in town and they realize that Rambo's back because he fucking blows up an entire
Right.
one of the 7 chevrons. Goes,
I think it was a shell.
Was it the shell?
It was the shell. I think.
He blows up
We
the
don't like
shell
shell.
He runs over the
pumps
Oh, yeah.
yeah, the
to get
pumps.
the gas going.
Yeah.
He lights. And then this is
He's
the other.
so efficient.
This is like one of those scenes.
He's a machine.
This is like one of those scenes in a movie where you see a character getting like in a Star Wars where you see someone getting their lightsaber when he says to the kid, "What are you transporting?" An M60.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of like
Eyes
Rambo's.
just light up, yeah.
This is also, I want to point this out. I was reading this and it is true. The only Rambo movie, and I'm assuming they mean even the new one. I don't
Right.
know. He does not use a bow and arrow in this one.
No.
He uses a bow and arrow in every other movie. But the M60 is kind of like,
Because he has the explosive tips and stuff for
Right.
this one too, right?
Yep, and
Yeah.
he has the M60 in Rambo 2, First
Right.
Blood Part 2.
Yeah.
So he blows that up, right, Lloyd? He destroys that.
He does.
And then he gets the idea. Were you starting to feel that Rambo hated small business owners?
Well, first he shot one transformer,
He shoots the Transformers
and then
out.
I believe he set off the alarm in I don't know what kind. Oh, it was like an outpost store.
Outpost store. And then
Yeah.
what does he do in the Outpost store?
Well, he piles up all
Everything.
The,
Oh, he
everything.
piles it all up, right?
and then uses the
And that's what
gunpowder
blows.
to lead out.
Yeah.
Gunpowder.
Like a Bugs Bunny cartoon. This whole movie is one big Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Yeah.
The giant
there
cartoon
you go.
explosions. And
It's Yosemite
yeah.
Sam versus Bugs Bunny for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
He
The
blows
sheriff
that
melts, he's up.
outpost. He blows that outpost to hell.
Yeah.
Right? He gets all the gunpowder.
Man,
There's
they
bullets
drew first
flying.
blood.
There's bullets flying everywhere in this place. Nobody is safe. Teasel gets on the emergency intercom system that apparently every town has we never knew about. Get in your houses, everybody. Rambo's a nut job.
Yeah.
So this is basically where the movie kind of comes to its head.
Yeah.
Teasel is on top of the sheriff's department. Rambo sneaks into the sheriff's department. Now, granted, Rambo has killed nobody in this movie save Galt, who was more of an accident.
Well, here's the one thing I will say. There's a big
No,
giant
no.
well, there's a caveat to that, right? Who the fuck knows who is in these buildings that he's blowing up? Because he just goes
True.
to town. There's some lights on. I know it's a sleepy town and it's nighttime, so the odds are against me.
Right.
But he doesn't fucking know that. He just starts shooting up all the
Well,
windows, shooting lighting everything on fire.
What we can be sure of is that in the 3.5 hour long cut, there might have been really slow scenes where he's looking in windows.
Right.
Like John Belushi in Animal
Yeah.
House,
Yeah.
he stumbles upon like girls undressing.
Anybody in there? Hello. I can blow this one up.
Yeah, he's doing recon
He's
for
doing
2
recon
hours. The
for
2
two-
hours they cut out.
They're getting peeping Tom calls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like, there's some fucking weird guy in a poncho looking in.
Looking at my window.
Yeah, who wears a bandana?
Yeah.
This guy's a real creep.
I bet you in 3 years it's going to be a good look, though.
I don't know what they was making me do. I need 3 hours of looking at windows. What the hell, man?
I need to buy this piece of shit back. It's also important to mention that after Rocky 1, and Rocky 2 was a hit too, that this was his first big hit.
Yeah.
And that's what he was most afraid of because he had made some movies in between that did not hit. And Nighthawks and stuff like that.
Ooh. Oh,
this
I
is the
forgot
first.
about
This
that.
was the first one that kind of, and it also gave him a character like Rocky that he can,
Yeah.
he was going to end up. You didn't realize he was going to end up leaning on.
Here's
for,
the thing, though. I when First Blood came out, I must have missed it because the Rambo explosion didn't happen for me that I remembered
Right.
until Rambo 2 came out.
Right.
When that was just a mega hit.
I think the only reason that Rambo is called Rambo First Blood Part 2 is because they wanted people to realize there was a first one.
Right.
Yeah, because even though this was a hit, like Andrew said earlier, you if you look at this is a movie about a guy with PTSD going nuts out of town.
It's not like Rambo 2.
Then Rambo 2 is a full-on action movie that gets, it's violent, but it's cartoony. Rambo 3 is more cartoony.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, let's mention in between there was a cartoon, Rambo and the Forces of Freedom, and an action figure line.
Oh.
So these movies got more and more kind of like steeped in the ridiculousness of the action genre.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy it, but the last Rambo one where he's like in Burma, where he kills 1,000 people with an fucking M60 at the end.
I still liked it.
I did too. No, I did too. But it's so far removed. Like when I see the trailers for the Last Blood thing, and I try to correlate it to what we just watched, I can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like this is different.
I think I said this to you before. It's just them seeing Old Man Logan and just going, "Oh, we could do that with Rambo." That's it.
Yeah, and plus, he probably saw his resurgence of the Rocky character through Rocky Balboa, and the Creed movies, and was like, "I could do this one more time." Yeah, definitely. So we get to the end now. This is what I was going to say was, he hasn't killed anybody, but there's no way. Like so Teasel's on the roof of the sheriff's department. He just shoots the roof.
Right.
That was a kill shot. He just didn't kill him.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there was no way he knew he wasn't killing him.
And then he falls through the glass.
Falls through the glass.
Yeah.
And then we get the last 10 minutes of the movie, which truly... Now, here's the thing. When I used to watch First Blood when I was a kid, because I've seen this movie since I was a kid.
Right.
This whole last scene where Troutman essentially goes into the sheriff's station and Rambo has that whole monologue.
Right.
Not
all over me.
Well, not to be a shitbag, but like I used to laugh about it. I used to laugh about that scene.
I still laugh at when he starts doing the shine when he's telling that story. I laugh when he does because he gets so high pitched.
He does get high pitched
and he's weepy.
He's completely almost inaudible, is what he's saying.
Yeah, it's a bit over the top.
It's a bit over the top.
It's 100% over the top.
Over the top.
Winner takes it all, loser takes the fall. Sammy Hagar sang that song. But once he starts telling the story and he gets through that whole shine bit, there's one line in this movie.
Legs?
No, the legs is again, that's like, it's on the edge of being funny and not funny.
Oh.
I'll tell you the line that the line that actually guts me.
Just odd.
There's one.
The legs one?
Well, his
so for anyone who is wondering what
go ahead.
He goes, he keeps calling my name. I want to go home, Johnny. I want to drive my Chevy. I said, with what? I can't find your fucking legs. I can't find your legs.
And Trump is just standing there like,
I can't believe he didn't have a laugh take on that one.
I don't know, man. I still feel like it's a funny line, but it is kind of disturbing.
Yeah, I'm a callous, terrible human being.
You're a stand-up comedian.
There's nothing that.
No, I'll tell you the line that actually fucking guts me, and it's in a bunch of other lines, but it's one line that like kind of really gives you this guy's whole life.
Right.
Is after he says all that and he's kind of calmed down, but he's still crying. He says, "I don't talk to anybody." Like that line actually really got me because that is
well, that's how the movie started. He's looking for his buddy.
He's looking for his buddy. He says
Everyone
at one point
dead.
He says it in the mine scene with Krenna with Troutman. They're all gone.
Yeah.
And he tells him about Delmar, right?
Delmar.
But just that one line where he says, "I don't talk to anybody for days and weeks at a time."
Now
that's where I felt like that's where I feel like for like all these guys that are still suffering PTSD,
right,
and still suffering from coming back from all these wars and everything,
right.
That one line out of that whole little bit, which again I do agree, it is kind of funny.
In my defense, like my parents are heavy into the American Legion. My dad and my grandfather, they were all Navy. They were all military. I see veterans all the time. I'm not callous to actual versions, the movie versions of seeing that. That's when it's I blew up a whole town, and now it's the breakdown.
Right.
Where's your fucking legs? It's hilarious. But so the one thing. I didn't do anything. So when you said, because it reminded me. So in Last Blood, the trailers that they have for that, he has a niece or a daughter or something in this movie.
I think. Yeah, some
and I'm
family.
Like, what family? He doesn't say in this movie like
he's got no
they
family.
were my family. I have no family. I have like he wouldn't be a drifter, I would assume, if he had a fucking sister or brother.
Maybe Last Con retcons First Blood.
Yeah,
or Last Blood retcons First Blood.
I guess
maybe.
Yeah.
I just think they ran out of ideas.
It's something else.
It's part of the reason why, because I don't think they mention it in the first teaser, but I remember in the longer trailer they start bringing up the niece or whatever.
They mentioned, the one I saw, they mentioned the niece.
Yeah, and I was like, come on.
Well, maybe again,
because again,
we're getting philosophical on what's happening in Last Blood. Maybe it might. I have a niece that's not my niece. You know what I mean?
Yeah, kid. It could be anything.
So maybe it's just somebody that's in his.
It's going to end up being his daughter. You watch.
So Lloyd Troutman starts off talking to Rambo at the end there, and how does it all start? What does he tell him?
He says, "It's over, Johnny. Nothing is over.
You just don't turn it off.
You just don't turn it off."
You may have heard that on Pint of Comics. It's been about the last.
Was my war?
Last 50 episodes. No, so the movie comes to its natural conclusion of everybody seems to live. Teasel ends up getting into a
it's a happy
ambulance.
He doesn't kill Teasel.
He doesn't kill Teasel.
No. Right.
They take Rambo out, safely, and then they go into this weird credits, kind of like this weird song.
This song is so bad.
I'm like, I don't remember this. What is this awful 70s folk music?
It reminded me of that shitty Star Trek
Hill.
Enterprise opening theme. It was it just didn't fit. It's like you just see this movie
Russell
about
Watson.
Yeah, you see this movie about PTSD and all this shit, and this guy fucks up a town, and then it ends with the typical 70s 80s where he's walking and then it freezes on his face.
Yeah.
Right.
Credits start to roll, and then it's like, and then the morning comes, and you're like. What the fuck is this?
I wish I could look up the lyrics, because if I remember, doesn't it
talk
about the movie, sort of
I
like
think
that?
So,
it might have saved
I got the first line of it.
You got the first line? What's the first line?
Yeah. It's a long road when you're on your own, and it hurts when they tear your dreams apart.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, because that's
so
what this
bad.
movie is.
Yeah, that's what this movie's all about.
Sure.
He had the dream of kind of sort of going to Portland after having an omelet.
Yeah. I just want an omelet and then go to Portland.
Why are you pushing me?
I heard it's weird there. All right, so that's how First Blood ends. The original, if you want to go, we'll post it on the YouTube page, and maybe we'll post it on our Facebook page. If you go to First Blood alternate endings, it gets a lot darker.
Yeah.
In the book, Andrew, what happens?
Right. So in the book, originally, Rambo gets killed by Troutman. Troutman puts him down like a rabid dog.
Yeah.
Because he's out of control.
And I had read that in the book, Troutman was not as friendly with Rambo. He was his commanding officer.
Right.
But it wasn't like, they seem to have that father and son or uncle and nephew relationship in a way that he seems like he knows Rambo's done something wrong. He's not totally on Rambo's side. He understands that Rambo had a lot to do with this.
Right.
But he also is going to do his best to make sure comes home safe.
Right.
In the book, they made it, from what I read, it's more like, he was his soldier. He's not anymore.
Right.
He's a nuisance. In the book, he kills a ton of people, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In the book, he's
way more out of control.
He goes murder
which is
crazy.
Insane.
Yeah. Yeah, really. And he shoots him. There's an alternate scene that did not play well with test audiences. You can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, the tap dancing. I didn't see that.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my ragtime gal. No, and
ragtime, First Blood.
And he has him. He has Troutman basically shoot him in the stomach. He suicides by cop in a way.
Yeah.
He tells him to kill him, but then Troutman won't do it. He puts his arm the other direction, and Rambo pulls it back.
Pulls the trigger, takes a shot in the stomach.
If you saw him, would you kill him?
Yeah. All right, so that's First Blood. Before we get to our ratings, box office time. This is Box Office Mojo. We always get the numbers there. This is the first year that they did Box Office Mojo.
Yeah.
So anything 82 and above we could do. I wanted to point out one more quick thing that I did not mention. Originally, and he never started filming, but he was hired to film. The original actor who was going to play Troutman was Kirk Douglas.
Yeah.
Kirk Douglas was actually hired, was fitted for costume and everything.
Right.
He wanted out of it because he didn't like the original ending, which was the suicide ending.
Right.
He didn't want to be part of that. He left. They could not figure out who to get. They wanted to hire Rock Hudson. Rock Hudson had just had open heart surgery and was too weak to shoot. That's how they got. Crenna was next in line, who is not that star level as other two guys.
Right.
And this ended up being the role that kind of defined his career.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. But
also interesting, before you get into the numbers, Rocky 3 was still in theaters when this movie came out.
Really?
Yeah. In some theaters, there was some.
You're right.
Because I looked up the numbers as well as far as what the box office was. And they listed Rocky 3 towards the end on the opening weekend. I was like, Get the fuck out
Yeah,
of
that
here.
was
Still
that
going?
was summer '82. You're right.
Yeah.
This is fall '82. And this is also goes for. There's a couple, and I forgot to research them, so maybe you guys can help me out. There's a couple movies on here. We've talked about this before, like with newer ones we've done,
right?
Where I'm like, what is that? Fuck? We did one. We did Everybody Wants Some with Chad Davis.
Yep. Yeah.
7 of the movies I had never heard of.
Right.
Okay, so this is older, and there's I think 3 on here that I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
And I meant to go back
Sir
and look
John
at
better
it.
step up to the plate
Yeah,
because
so
we're all going to look like
Sir
fools.
John, you're in charge here.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So box office for the week ending October 24th, 1982.
All right.
First place opened that week with $6.6 million. First Blood.
Yeah.
This might be the first one we've ever done where it was first place. Number 2 opened that week as well, $6.3 million, so very close. 2 more days till Halloween, Silver Shamrock. You know what that is?
No.
Halloween 3.
Oh,
Season of the Witch.
that's right. Yeah, I forgot. I did see that. Yeah.
Number 3, the first of the movies I have no clue what this is. It opened that week as well with $3.6 million. A movie called Monsignor. No clue.
Nope.
Number
Sorry,
4.
can't help you.
I don't know either.
Number 4, it was out for 13 weeks. That's how you know you're in the 80s when a movie's out for 13 weeks. And it had made $3.3 million. And you'd mentioned this earlier. Kind of funny. An Officer and a Gentleman.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Caruso's killing it.
Caruso was having
Yeah.
a good week in October of 82. Number 5, 20 weeks. $3.2 million. Put your finger out, buddy. Put your finger out and touch mine.
E.T.
Phone home.
Yeah.
Phone home, E.T.
All right.
Which that came out in May,
Yeah.
I believe.
20 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Number 6, $1.7 million, 3 weeks. And I do remember, this is one I've never seen, but I do remember this, my favorite year. Peter O'Toole, and I think, was that the guy from Mark Lynn Baker, I think, from Perfect Strangers?
Perfect Strangers?
Yeah, I think it was the two of them in that.
Yeah.
Number 7, another one that I have no clue what it is. $1.2 million. It opened that week. Jinxed.
Yeah.
Damn, I don't know
No
that.
clue. Do you know that one?
Yeah.
Okay, what is it? Do you know, like,
It's think of like remember Zapped?
yes.
It's similar.
Number 8, 11 weeks, $437,000. All We Are is another brick in
The Wall.
Pink Floyd, The Wall.
Wow.
Pardon me. The next movie, I have no clue what it is. Number 9, it opened that week. $435,000, The Sender.
No.
No. And normally I would have researched, I forgot to.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Can't tell you. And number 10, I do know this one because this is one of my favorite HBO movies when I was a kid. I shouldn't have been watching it, but I did. It had a lot of drug connotations and it was funny as shit. And I would never believe this was in the top 10 at any point in history. $411,000. It was out for 4 weeks. Jekyll and Hyde Together Again. You ever see that?
It rings a bell.
It was the guy. Okay, so in Robin Hood, the Mel Brooks one,
Yeah.
the guy who plays the
Men in
blind
Tights.
guy,
Yeah.
Mark
Blinken?
Blinken.
Yeah.
He plays Dr. Jekyll, and the way he becomes a sex-crazed Mr. Hyde is he does special cocaine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember this.
And it used to be on
was
HBO,
all the time.
All the
yeah.
time, and I shouldn't. There was boobies and drugs in
well,
it.
yeah.
And I used to, take my
This
controller,
used to be all HBO was.
pretty
Yeah,
much,
that was
pretty
what
much,
I watched.
tits and piles of cocaine.
Yeah. Watch Dream On until my eyes explode.
Dream on.
Yeah.
Dream. As a kid, I used to think if this Brian Ben guy could fuck this many women, I might be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I might be okay. And then do you know who that guy's married to in real life?
No.
For like 25 years. Madeline Stowe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Like that's her. Like Lou calls it the Reacher Settler.
So he's Mr. Stowe.
He is Mr. Stowe.
Oh, yeah.
You know Brian Ben, right?
Yeah.
That dude does not look. I mean, he's okay.
He was kind of Al Bundy-ish
Kind
at
of.
the time. Yeah.
He looks okay. So Madeline Stowe is gorgeous.
Yes.
And Brian Ben is your accountant.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You make the
At
joke.
best,
You're every
yeah.
retail manager. That's your joke.
Yeah.
This guy is everybody that's worked at an H&R Block.
Oh, totally.
Ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you were to say, who did you think, like, if you're talking about movie, who does Brian Ben kind of remind you of? You go, I don't know, Rick Moranis?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just
Yes.
totally plain.
He dresses
looking dude.
like Walter White before the convergence.
Yes, yeah. When he still has that weird mustache.
Yeah.
So Lloyd, we're gonna go to you first. You could use the quarter scale. You could Johnson it and hit us with a 0 for adaptation.
Oh, no, never.
What would you give First Blood?
I would give First Blood a 3 1/4.
3 1/4. Okay.
This is out of how many? I'm sorry.
5.
5.
Okay.
5. Yep. John, what do you give it? My favorite is now he didn't speak lovingly of it, but my favorite is when John speaks lovingly of something and then goes solid 2.
This is this. I don't know. I can't remember the last time I watched it, and if I never saw it again, I wouldn't be sorry. But it's watchable. It's got a decent plot line, other than the cartoonish explosions and and ridiculousness.
It's part of its charm.
It is kind of, in a certain way. But these kind of movies never really appealed to me, so I would give it a 2.
I'm with you, Lloyd.
It's still better.
I'm with you. 3 1/4.
It's still better.
I
than
would still
adaptation.
watch it again. I'll watch it again at some point.
This is one. This is one that, like, I gotta say, I'll say it right off the bat, and Stallone, Stallone said this too. At least he's not, I guess going with the money, because the money would be, Rambo 2 is the best. This is the best of these movies.
Yes, it is.
Oh, I would say so.
Rambo. I'll be honest.
I've never
Rambo.
seen one past Rambo.
Rambo 2, I tried watching it right after I watched this one, and I was starting to get sleepy. Until he gets, and even then, it takes a while, until he gets off the plane,
right.
like he cuts himself off and he falls out of the plane and gets into the actual camps or whatever. That's when the movie starts to do something.
Rambo First Blood Part 2.
Otherwise, he's just kind of like,
For my age range, around 10 years old is when that came out.
Yeah.
That was one of the biggest movies at that time, like in
it
the 80s.
was huge.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, even then, I never fully got it.
And
like,
it's long.
It's long. Sure.
Yeah.
Did I like bits of it? Sure. Did it have moments that I enjoyed where there, there's one scene where he fucking blows a dude up from 10 feet away with an exploding arrow, and the guy fucking looks like meatloaf.
Perfect. Yeah.
Well,
But in the end, it was like I never fully got why was this so popular?
Right.
But there was that period of time where Rambo First Blood Part 2 was the biggest movie in the fucking world.
Every kid in school was talking about it. Everybody wanted to be Rambo.
Everybody had a fucking headband on.
Stupid headband.
Everybody wanted the knife or had the toy knife.
Yep. Oh, I had one of the stupid survival knives. I don't think it made the move, but
it's there somewhere. All right, Andrew, you brought this movie to us.
Sharp
You
as
are
a
our first
bowling ball,
second time
that
guest.
knife.
Thank you so much for coming back.
Oh, no, this was a blast, man. I appreciate it.
We want everybody to go immediately after they listen to this episode and download as many episodes or subscribe to the Nomcast as possible.
Absolutely. The Nomcast, the Netflix original movie podcast. Go, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get podcasts. Rate, review, and subscribe right now, homeboys, because it's good. And you can see all your pinters, at least at some point.
Yeah, we've all been on there together, apart. It's been a great. You have a great
Together again.
You have a great show.
No Stallone movies on the Nomcast, though.
No, he's not.
I'm not big enough for.
And at the end of the Apostle one, he's doing that too. He's doing the Stallone impression at the end of that one too. So if you want
not
more,
my fault.
So what do you give First Blood on a scale of 1 to 5? 0 if you want to go for your.
I don't think it's a 0.
The only Pint Movie Invitational that got a 0 was your brother Jerry's.
Right.
He brought adaptation, and it pissed John off so bad.
I would be a complete asshole if I brought the movie that got the 0 and gave it the 0.
Yeah.
That would be a complete asshole. Although one of these days, I think maybe for the third one, I will bring complete trash.
Bring
for
Bring
fun.
it, absolutely.
Because those are almost just as fun.
I want to make you guys all watch Yellowbeard with me.
Okay.
I saw that pop up on the Plex the other night.
I was
You're watching
watching
that, aren't you?
Maybe we'll do it like for next Halloween, because it seems to be a yearly thing for me on here. So by the time we go back, maybe we'll do Deathbed, the Bed That Eats.
Oh,
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
in Patton Oswalt's stand-up, and I had to watch it,
Is it
based
better
on his impression.
Is it better than Rubber?
Oh, is that the tire movie?
Yeah.
No, Rubber's better.
Is it really?
Yeah, Rubber's better.
Because it's got Wings Hauser in it.
It's basically,
I love that dude's
the bed
name.
that eats is like porn with like a bed that eats people while they're fucking on it.
Yeah, well, Rubber, there's not.
Oh, you
there's
know
not
what? Is
nudity
it-
there.
and it's
like
in the
from
70s. They try to make it all artistic and shit.
Larry,
jeez.
our buddy Larry Dwyer, played the preview for that at one of his shows.
fantastic.
Because when you said that, I was about to ask you if it was the 70s. I remember the preview. It was really old.
Yeah.
And it had this couple going at it, and then the bed like fucking swallows them up. Yeah.
And when they do swallow it up, bubbles come up for some reason.
Oh, of course they would.
Yeah, because,
Yeah, of course they would.
Soap bubbles?
Like a burp bubble.
apparently,
Okay.
before everybody had memory foam, apparently that's what it was, actual foam that would just come up through beds, apparently.
Yeah, whatever.
Water beds. All right, what do you give it?
I'm going to sound like Star Search here and be like 3 3/4 stars.
3 3/4. All right.
And before we go out, because I did look this up.
Kicking it wins the night.
Kicking it. That sounds like one of those, yeah.
I like to see what certain reviewers, especially of the older movies, say. And Roger Ebert, I wanted to see whether he got this right in the moment. And he sure as fuck did. He gave it 3 out of 4 stars.
Did he really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's impressive for him. I thought this kind of movie, he was going to lay into it and, the speeches and whatever. He praises Stallone and gives him basically, he straight out says, like, the demonstration of physical strength and agility that we never question the scene's implausibility. In fact, almost all of First Blood is implausible because it's Stallone on the screen. We'll buy it. And that's absolutely true.
It is true. I mean, like we said, he does most of the stunts, and you could tell. It doesn't look fake.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have to think about it this way, too. I mean, this movie's got decent actors. You got Brian Dennehy.
Yeah.
I mean, he eats up every scene he's in.
Yeah.
If you don't have a good heavy like that, your movie's going to fall apart.
And Krenna.
Krenna's great. He really is.
Krenna's rigid in this.
Yes.
He's not like Dennehy actually seems like a real person.
Right.
Krenna comes in like a cartoon. And
he does.
He just delivers though.
Which is what I like about the scenes between him and Dennehy, because Dennehy just calls him on it constantly.
Dennehy's one of those big dudes that seems like he'd be physically imposing in person.
Oh, he is a big guy.
You know what I mean?
But
I mean,
6'2" or something.
He's built like a linebacker.
Right.
I mean,
That's what I'm saying. Just there's big dudes, and then there's big dudes that, like, when you talk to him, you're like, holy shit. Like, if this guy just decided to, like, put his hand out, I'd probably go right down. He seems like that guy. Because he doesn't look fat either. He just looks like he's
just solid.
He looks like a boulder with a head.
The scene where Rambo's got him and he's got the knife at his throat.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you've got this big Stallone. Stallone still looks small compared to him.
Yeah.
He's got big guns, big arms.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, it's like Dennehy looks like he's 350
Because
pounds.
Stallone's not tall, right?
No,
I mean,
Stallone's
He's short.
Yeah.
But you can't tell because he's got him backed up against a tree and all that kind of thing. So it's just the size alone of Dennehy himself. His head is just huge. So, I mean,
So to recap, we got a 2 from Sir John.
from Bridgeport.
3 1/4.
3 1/4 from you.
Yep.
3 1/4 from me. 3 3/4 from Kicking It over here.
Kicking it.
That has been the Pint Movie Invitational. First Blood. There's no Rambo in the title, just First Blood, period.
Yeah.
That, I wanted to bring that up
First
too.
Blood period.
I wanted to bring that up too, just real quick before we go. Like the oddness of the titles of these movies. So you got First Blood.
Yeah.
Then you've got Rambo First Blood Part 2.
Right.
Then you've got Rambo 3.
Yeah.
Makes no sense because there was never Rambo 2.
Yeah.
Right. Then you've got Rambo. So they're doing that thing. And then you've got Rambo Last Blood.
Yes.
The titles are all over the fucking place in this thing. So, all right, Andrew, you want to do the thing for us, what we usually do when we go away from our podcast?
See ya.
See ya.
That's it.
It's over, Johnny. It's over. Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.